Today's class is about the reissue of forfeited shares. Forfeiting of shares arises when a shareholder makes non-payment either in the case of allotment of shares or in the case of call money, first call money or second call money or final call money. The directors may either cancel or reissue the forfeited shares. In most cases, the reissue of such shares may be at par, at premium, or at a discount. Here we can go into a problem relating to the reissue of forfeited shares. The director of Polyplastic Limited resolved that 200 equity shares of rupees 100 each can be forfeited for non-payment of the second and final call of rupees 30 per share. The original value of the share is 200 equity shares of rupees 100. That is 200 into 100. Then the non-payment is made in the case of second and final call. Out of this, 150 shares were reissued at rupees 60 per share to Mohit. We have to pass on the necessary journal entries. First of all, we have to make the working note. And the working note, then first of all, we have to write the total amount forfeited on the 200 shares. That is, that will be 200 into 70. That is, 100 is the original value of the shares. The 30 per share is not paid. Forfeiture of shares is 30 per share. Then 100 minus 30 will be 70. So, amount forfeited on 200 shares will be 200 into 70. That is 14,000. Then amount forfeited on 150 shares. 150 into 70, that will be 10,500. Then amount forfeited on 50 shares. 50 shares means the total number of shares is 200. Out of this, 150 shares were reissued. 200 shares is the total number of shares. Out of this, 150 shares were reissued. The remaining shares will be 50. So, the amount forfeited on 50 shares will be 50 into 70. That will be 3,500. Then we have to calculate the loss or profit on the reissue of the forfeited shares. Here there is a loss arising. Amount of loss on reissue of 150 shares. That is 150 into 40. 40, that is the reissue of shares is made at rupees 60 per share. The original value is 100. There is a loss of 40. That is 100 minus 60. When reissue is made, there is a loss of rupees 40. So there is the loss amount is 40 per share. 40 per share on 150 shares. 150 shares were reissued. So 150 into 40 will be 6,000. Then amount of profit on reissued shares will be, if there is any profit on reissue, that will be transferred to the capital reserve. We have to calculate this one by the amount forfeited on the 150 shares is 10,500 minus the loss on the reissue shares 6,000. The amount will be 4,500. That amount will be transferred to the capital reserve. The balance left in the share forfeited account, that is 14,000. 14,000 is the total amount on forfeited on shares minus 6,000. That is loss on shares minus profit. Profit transferred to capital reserve. The value remaining in the forfeited account will be 3,500. Then we have to pass on the journal entry. First of all, the journal entry for the share forfeited. The journal entry will be share capital account debited to share forfeited account debited, share forfeited account to share second and final call account. Forfeiture is made in the case of second and final call. So we have there is no need for allotment, right allotment. So the original value of shares will be shown in the share capital. That is, the original value of shares is 200 equity shares of rupees 100 is. So 200 into 100, that will be 20,000 into share forfeited account. The total amount forfeited on 200 shares, that is 14,000. That amount 14,000. Then share second and final call account. That will be 30. The amount per share will be 30 into 200. That will be 6,000. Narration will be 200 shares forfeited for non-payment of final call at rupees 30 per share. Then journal entry relating to the reissue of the forfeited shares. The bank account debited, share forfeited account debited to share capital account. Bank account amount will be 150. The total value of the reissued shares, that is 150 shares were reissued at rupees 60 per share. So 150 into 60 will be 9,000. Then the original value of the shares, 150 shares of rupees 100 is. So 150 into 100 will be 15,000. Then the balance amount, that is 15,000 minus 9,000, will be transferred to the share forfeited account. Then that is relating to the loss on the forfeiture of shares. Then the profit on forfeiture of shares will be transferred to the capital reserve. The journal entry for this is share forfeiture account debited to capital reserve account. The amount we have already calculated, that is 4,500. The narration is profit on reissue of 150 forfeiture shares transferred to capital reserve. That's all for today. Thank you.